All right, we're live. Thanks for your patience. If anybody was looking for me right at 9 a.m. Eastern, I was messing with my lighting, so I think it's okay. I think I did an all right job. So welcome to Paisley's Pathfinders Week 5. Oh, I don't like how small the font is. Please hold. That's better. Paisley's Pathfinders Week 5, and so I don't know why I wrote week 4 on my page, but that's not right. Week 5. So today we're going to talk all about coaching your team. And I believe I said it before that coaching for me is something that I feel like I've maybe struggled with the most, the thing that I'm not most confident in. I can be supportive and cheer you guys on all day long. But when it gets down to actually coaching, I don't know, sometimes it feels a little, I don't want to say icky, but there's a fine line between being a coach and being a boss. And so I never want to cross that line because let's face it, I'm nobody's boss. I'm only my boss. So let me pull this up on, good morning. Since I can't see exactly who's commenting, I'll pull this up on my phone so that I can see who's here and see your lovely names. All right, so Tina's here. Hey, Tina, who else is here? Oh, April. Good morning, April. Okay, so we wear 3 hats in our business. The first hat everyone wears, and that's the player hat. And I've talked about this before in a training, and I kind of want to redo this training because I just probably could expand on it a little bit more. Hey, Dana. So everyone wears the player hat. The player hat is the hat you wear when you're working your personal business, when you're selling product, when you're holding parties, when you're talking to people about the business, when you're, giving out samples, doing vendor events, making booking calls. Those are all player hat activities. And then we have our cheerleader hat, which is more like pom-poms. And that's when you're, woohooing for your team or your sister consultants or brother consultants. And so that's, I think, an easy hat for people. Some people aren't naturally the cheerleader, but I think more often than not, that's probably a simple hat for people to wear. Woo! And then there's the coach hat, which is what we're focusing on today. But I think to be a good coach, you do have to be a good player and a good cheerleader too. So one of the things that coaches should do is communicate with their teams. And I'll be honest, I don't have a good system for this. I like to be transparent with you guys. I definitely don't want anyone thinking that I'm perfect or I have it all together because I don't. I'm constantly a work in progress. And I probably always will be a work in progress because I'll never be satisfied with, the way I have things. I'll always be looking to grow and improve those things. So I don't have a good communication system, but I will soon because this weekend, more or less, I'm focusing on organization. I'll tell you guys a little bit more about all that fun stuff later. But when you're communicating with your team, you have several different ways that you can do it. It can be in person. If you're fortunate enough to be local to these team members, it can be on the phone, like actually talking. It can be through text or messenger. You can do it over video though. There's Zoom, there's Skype, there's Facebook Messenger video chat. There's all these different options to stay connected and communicate. You can do voice notes. I love doing voice notes. Sometimes if I get questions and I'm kind of busy and I can't necessarily type, I'll just send a voice note and type, talk the answer back to them. But I want to make sure that everyone understands that your communication with your team should not be something like, okay, are you working your business this week? Are you doing anything for your business? Or Make sure you get your sales in so I get paid. Yeah, that's not coach activity or coach mentality. It's not about you. Your team members' goals are your team members' goals. It's their goals. It's not your goals. So the biggest thing, probably the most frequent question that I'm asking when I'm messaging with anyone on my team is, what can I help you with this week? Or what can I help you with this month? Because I want to make sure that I am being supportive. Obviously, there are times when, I'd be lying if I said that things that happen in leadership are not dependent on other people. They absolutely are. Our promotions are dependent on our personal activity as well as other people on our team. But our team members' goals are their goals. My goals are my goals. And my objective is not to push my goals on you to make sure that you're doing X, Y, and Z that I want you to do so that I can achieve a goal. I hope that makes sense. So it's not, you're never going to hear me say, okay, I really need you guys to go sell more this month so that I can get blah, blah, blah. Because that's not a way to lead. I'd rather inspire you guys and challenge you guys and be a good leader, someone that you guys want to follow. So you'll never hear those kinds of things from me. And in turn, you should never say those kinds of things to your team. Like, please never, ever, hear my heart, never, ever ask your team member if they're going to put in their sales. Because that to me feels like you don't really care if they're actually selling or not. You just want them to hit a number. So instead, encourage them, whatever their sales goal is for the month. Encourage them by, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Let me not jump ahead of things. Just make sure that you're setting a good example and you're not treating your team like they're a number. We can't treat our customers like they're numbers. So why would we treat our teams that way? Okay, so we did talk a few weeks ago about planning your days and weeks. And so we all, me included, we all need to set a schedule on how we check in with our team members. And I told you guys, there's a ton of different ways that you can connect with people. It's probably a good idea to find out how they want you to reach out to them. If they're a talk on the phone person, then that might be, the way that you reach out to them. If they'd rather text or Facebook message, then there's that option too, but definitely stay connected with them. And then, like I said, have a schedule for that. I'm still working on that too. A schedule and a system, because I think total on my level 1, there's about 40 people, and not all of them are active or even selling, selling on a regular basis. But there are some people that I know, they are working their business every single month. And so for me, having a good routine on checking in with those people is important, because they may run into issues or have questions or come into situations that they've never encountered before. And so staying connected and feeling like we have an open line of communication, it's going to allow them to have some trust with me and know that they can reach out to me when they have questions. So I encourage you guys to do the same. And even if you don't have a team right now, that's okay. This is all good, knowledge to put in your memory bank for when you do have a team. Okay. Another way to coach your team is to offer training. So I said I didn't feel like I was super awesome at coaching, but I offer a lot of training. So check one for Melina. But I encourage you guys to do the same thing as well. There's, no shortage of training and learning here in this group. But for those of you who have your own team groups, or even if you haven't stepped up to a group yet, but you have a group chat, there's training opportunities, within those places. And so I encourage you to do that. And you don't have to be an expert on everything. I'm not an expert on everything. I've told you guys that a few times, but I do some work ahead of time. I do some research. I looked at a few things for this training today to make sure that I was sharing valuable tips with you guys. I didn't just pull all this out of my brain. So no one expects you to do that either. Another way to coach your team is through team meetings. So we have a team meeting here in the group every second Thursday of the month. And that's awesome. But that's something you can also do with your team as well. There's so many different training topics. And, a lot of what I share, over the course of a year might be different, but we might repeat all those same topics the next year. So, you can train your team on something completely different than what I'm training my team, or not my team, this team on during the month. And it gives them, opportunity to learn two different topics. Please hold. Alpine Dixon, stop eating cat food. Oh my gosh, that's going to go on YouTube because I'm not editing it out. So offer team meetings, and they can be super casual. I mean, I think ours are pretty casual too. If you have local team members, meet up with them for an in-person get together. The biggest thing here's the secret. The people come and go in direct sales. So they say, a third is coming, a third is going, and a third is staying at any given time. So I want to make it really hard to leave us. Like, if you think, I don't really want to do this anymore, I want you to be really conflicted about that decision, because you love our team and you love the camaraderie and you love the relationships. So if someone's thinking, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want them to come to that decision lightly. So any opportunity you have to connect and build that relationship with your team just makes it ultimately that much harder for them to leave. Attrition, which is like people leaving, fancy word that we, use in corporate America and stuff. I guess they use it other places too, but that's the first place I heard it. It's reality. There are people who joined my team 6 years ago that are no longer on my team, but there are people who, joined my team 5 years ago who still are. So some go, some stay, and then we have new peeps. So yeah, take that opportunity to meet with your team in person if you can. And I know, we're all over the country, and then we got our Bonnie up in Canada. I can't wait till we have more Bonnies up in Canada. They won't all be named Bonnie, I don't think. That'd be really funny if that happened. But, we're so spread out, and that's what's so great about having this group, because this is a place for people to plug in and be connected. But, we've got North Carolina peeps that, can come meet at my house first Saturday of the month. So quick plug, next Saturday, April 6th, we've got a team meeting in my living room at Casa de Dixon. So if you're in the area, come on. If you're not in the area and willing to do a little day trip, road trip, come on too. But then I know we have a collection of peeps in South Carolina where Tiffany is. And that's all I really know for geography right now. I don't know that we have collections of consultants any other places necessarily. I think, Jessica in Kansas has one or two peeps near her. But yeah, for more or less, North Carolina and South Carolina are where the biggest populations of our team live. So we have the opportunity to definitely meet in person. But as you grow your local team, wherever you may be, then you have that opportunity too. So one thing that I definitely want to share and encourage is when you have a new person, two things. So number one, invite them to observe a party or even stop by a vendor event that you're doing so that they can get some training in and they can learn and observe you. But then I encourage you to also help them with their launch party. So again, not everybody is local to us. So if you have someone that is out of state that you can't get to and you can't physically be there for their launch party, then you have to prep them and train them and show them where to find resources so that they can have the best possible party. And I, encourage our new people to do an in-person party. Some of them do, some of them don't. But sharing our products in person is the absolute best way to sell them. I've never had an online party I've had a really awesome online party, but those were mostly people who already knew our products. So I was kind of at an advantage. But other than that one really amazing online party, none of my online parties have compared to my launch party. So just keep that in mind that in-person parties, they are the best way to sell our products. So when you're new, even if you're nervous, even if you don't really know what you're doing, give that in-person party an attempt, because at least it's experience and it's practice. And, you'll be in a safe place to make mistakes because those are all people that know you and love you. And so I'm saying all that to say, team leaders, encourage your team to do the same. Encourage them to do an in-person party. And then speaking of encouragement, this is kind of a cheerleader thing, but encourage them as they're taking their business to the next level. Know their weekly, monthly, and yearly goals. So that kind of inspired me that I need to create a document. I have a handful of documents up in my head that need to be created. So I promise I will get to it. But it's a good idea for you to know what your team member is working towards. What do they want to achieve this week, this month, this year? And then help them achieve it by breaking those goals down into bite-sized, manageable, reachable chunks. So if someone says, this month, I want to sell $500, then you can, talk to them about how many parties they have on their books, because we know that an in-home party, just a traditional party, the average sales are around 400. A blend bash party, the tradition or the average sales for an in-home blend bash party are a little over 600. So we know those numbers, but you can even be a little conservative and say 250 for a home party. So that means you want to hold two. We could say 400 for a blend bash. So that means we want to hold maybe one blend bash and one traditional party to hit that 500. So break those things down and show them how it's possible. And you can even break it down weekly if that person is like a numbers person and can kind of focus that way. So if my goal was to sell $500 in April, then I would say, all right, I need to sell $125 each week. So how am I going to accomplish that? You can do the same thing with your team. Another thing that I think is really important as a coach is you need to know how to read the reports in back office. Has anyone dug into ZebraNet back office, like the computer version? Because I feel like when I say ZebraNet, people think the app. But have you looked at the different reports that we have? I'll share my screen real quick because I love to do this. I love to share my screen. All right, so I'm gonna add my screen, and then I'm gonna make myself little, ta-da. Okay, so, and again, I don't wanna, embarrass people, so I will go look at really old reports, but there's a couple that are really important. So the first is the sponsor. So it's where it says my sponsor / list report. Here you can view your downline, your upline, and the consultant contacts report. The consultant contacts report has addresses. So if you've ever wanted to send your team member a little goodie or a postcard, this is where you can get that information without having to ask them for it. So I'll show you guys the upline report because that won't embarrass anyone. So I don't have a whole lot of levels above me, but I'll just expand it for the sake of expanding it. So when you click process report, this shows me, I'm at level 0, and this shows me who is above me. So D3 and Associates LLC, that's Dana. She has an LLC because she's fancy. And then above her is basically Pink Zebra Corporate. So there's, she is my highest upline. So basically my only upline. I'm not complaining because I love her. So that's how, that works. But your report's going to look very different depending on, how many levels down you are from me. So it's important that you know this. So when you have a question, and say your direct upline is on vacation, they're out of the country, or you can't contact them for whatever reason, then go to this report and you can see a list of the other people. I think you all should have some kind of relationship with the people on your upline list. Like if nothing else, just to reach out and introduce yourself to them, because they need to know who you are. Now they should already know who you are, but if not, reach out to them and open that line of communication. The other report that I want to show is the downline report. So just for fun, and I've already shown this before, but I'll show it again. We're gonna go to like 5 years ago. And what's important about this report is it will show your total team sales at any given time. So our sales for January 2014 were $2,547.95. And so I've got, I'm level 0. Again, you can sort this by level. So I could see my level 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. And you can see, at any given time in the month, total SV, their SV for the last 6 months. This number is important now more than ever because we want to make sure that people are staying active and not being moved to social consultant. So this is a good place to check your own numbers. It said I was active until July. It has your last order date, it has your enroller. Mine has my phone number. For some reason, not everyone's phone number is listed. So I need to figure out, I'd love to have everybody's phone number listed. Just in case I want to text anyone and say, hey. So this is, a really helpful report. This is where I go for recognition. So you should know about this report too, so that you can be recognizing your team as well. All right, another report that is really important is the tree view report. And again, we're going to go way back in the day. And I always just default to level 1. And so this has, we're all red because this is in the past. But this right here was my personal team at that moment as of January 2014. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. And you know what? I don't think any of these people are on our team anymore. Unless 1 or 2 of them might be social consultants, but for the most part, they're all they're all gone. So like I said, it's, 1/3 going, 1/3 staying, 1/3 new. So this, I could click on people to see, their teams. I look at this a lot when people are working towards promotions. So, like I had Jason. Oh, Jason didn't have anybody on his team at that moment. So maybe the only person who did have a team was Julie. So she had one person under her. So if Julie was working towards executive consultant, then obviously I'd want her to be green, meaning she's active. I'd want her SB to be 400 because that's what you need to promote. And then she would want to have 3 people under her who were all green as well. And then she would promote. So yeah, so this is helpful as well. All right. The other report that I wanted to show you guys was the Enroller Quick Start report. And I can't show old, well, I could show old data. So I'll just go to level 6, even though I think our levels we only go to level 5 at this moment. So this is from a long time ago. Yeah, it goes back to 2015. So you can see your person's join date, their quick start, when their quick start 1 started and when it ended, and then you can see their sales. So you can track this throughout the month, and you can see these folks hit their first quick start because they're in green. But, we used to have to count. We didn't have a report like this initially. So this is really helpful to help your team track their quick starts. All right, and then I think the final report that I want to show is the Leadership Party report. And I wonder if it'll let me go that far back. We'll see. Maybe not. No, it doesn't go back that far. Because I can guarantee I had at least one party in January 2014. Maybe not, but it doesn't even have sales here. So I'll have to go to something more recent. Let's see. We'll go to June of last year. And hopefully there's data. There is. Okay. So here it's got name, email, the rank, their number of parties, and average party size. So I'm going to sort this by highest to lowest. So these are the people who had parties that closed parties that month. And here was their count and their average size party. So this is where I go to look and see who our top partier is for the month. So just another helpful report, in my opinion. Okay, so that's kind of it for our training. I kept it quick today. The last little nugget that I do want to share that I did not write down, but I just remembered that I wanted to share it. You as a coach should be knowledgeable about, the compensation plan, their career plan, policies. Now, I won't tell you guys that I know Policy Guide 100% perfectly. So if you ask me a question, I'd just be able to rattle it off. Sometimes I still have to refer to it too. But familiarize yourself as best you can with all that information. And I'm going right now, I'm showing you guys. So I clicked resources. You okay, Alpine? And it brought me here. And then I'm going to click consultant career plan. And we've got the US and the Canada. So I'll click US and it's got the policy manual. It opened it in a new window, which you guys can't see, but I'll make it so you can. So let's plop this out. And add the PDF. Okay, so this has, kind of a table of contents where you can find different information. So, it's got shipping information, product guarantee, exchange policy, all that stuff that, people may want to know. It has the Consultant Code of Ethics. It talks about promotions and leadership awards. I mean, really everything from a policy perspective is in here, like the do's and don'ts, the things we can and can't do. I'm looking and I don't see it, but maybe I missed it. The place where it says about shirts and all that jazz. Logo guidelines. So page 23, I wonder if I can just go there. Did it work? No. Okay. Well, we'll just. Oh, and now I broke it. Oh, here we go. Okay. It just took a second. Sometimes you have to be patient. Okay. So the logo use. So when we're creating images that do not have a pink zebra logo on them, we would want to use the independent consultant logo. And a lot of the graphics that Pink Zebra is they're creating for us, they're going ahead and adding the logo. So it's already ready to go when we have those promotions and sales. There is a little, I thought it was in here. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought there was a place that told you, depending on what you were having made, like a shirt or something, it said which logo you needed to use. Oh, here we go. Okay, so if you are adding decals or anything to your vehicle, then it's the consultant logo. On social media, so business cards, flyers, all that jazz, stationery, independent consultant logo. For shirts or tablecloths, table runners, keychains, water bottles, or cups, you can use the standard Pink Zebra home logo. So that's good to know. So yeah, I wanted to point that out because that's one thing that I think people always want to know. Okay, so I'm done. I'm done with training. If if you did not catch me live and you're catching the replay, thanks so much. Make sure you type replay in the comments so that we know that you stopped by. This training will be added to our unit. We've got a Paisley's Pathfinder unit. It's week 5. So we have week 6, 7, and 8 left. And I don't know those trainings off the top of my head. Apologies. But our next training will be next Saturday morning, the 6th. For week 6. Week 6 on the 6th. How did I make that happen? That's amazing. But I appreciate you guys stopping by to watch this. Hopefully this was some helpful tips. And if you have any questions, definitely put those below and I will chat with you guys all soon. Oh, and I wore makeup for you today. I forgot to point that out. I told you last week I'd wear makeup and I put makeup on today. So I did it. Yay. Now I can give me some lip gloss and I can take on the world. All right. Bye, y'all.